In this series, we took the highest grossing film every year since 1980, we put them in brackets, and debated which film was the best to determine once and for all which decade had the best movies.
All right, so our next bracket. Let's get us away from the trilogies
Yeah,
of Star Wars because
let's
we
get a
got another.
palate
I was
cleanser.
gonna
Here's
say get
another
away.
one.
Yeah, but at least it's on its own. And
It
this
is,
okay.
yes.
So some good variety here. It just depends on what you're in the mood for. Um, so this is kind of
Oh
you
God,
might
this is
get a
my
little upset.
favorite movie
Knowing
thing.
you,
Yeah.
I feel like you might get a little upset with my answers here. But obviously, we got Top Gun,
Yes.
Independence Day, Dead
Mhm.
Man's Chest, and Rogue One.
Mhm.
Soto, what
Yeah.
is your first place? What's number one for you?
God, listen. I don't know. Like it's so hard between two of them because there's a lot of camp on here. Only one of these movies is a good movie. Do you realize that? Like, what? Only one of these movies in these four, I feel, is actually like a well executed and well done like film.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel that the other ones are like just popcorn movies. So, like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like all these are popcorn movies. I
like
have a feel.
I mean, if I'm going to like, and I'll explain my answers and which ones in a bit. Oh God, this is so hard because like I went back and forth on this, but I guess if I have to say the best movie out of all of these, and it also has nostalgia in it as well. I think you probably know what my top two are because I kept going back to it. But my top movie is Top Gun. Okay, it's my
Hmm.
number one. Okay, and it goes against because I feel like Rogue One is a better done movie than Top Gun, but also Top Gun is awesome. And it's also a really well done movie. Top Gun is one of the first things that I really liked too when I was like 6 years old. It was great. I believe Top Gun is the best movie on here, and I really was balancing out between Top Gun and Independence Day. Those were the ones I was kind of teetering on. And you, I'll let you have your number one, but we'll get into the Independence Day conversation.
Well, we're gonna get into it now because I did put Independence Day as number one, and
Oh, and but why? But why, Chad? Why did you put it number one? There's only one reason that this would be put number one. Why?
Jeff Goldblum fucking in it.
Yes.
Oh my god. So this is tough. And again, so to me, I don't think I have as much love for Top Gun as many people do. I actually did not see Top Gun until later in my life. I did not see it in the 80s. I think I was in
Really?
high school. It was one of those, you always have those movies where everyone talks about but you haven't seen and
Hmm.
Top Gun, that was it for me. I don't think I saw Top Gun until end of high school, maybe early college. And it was just so but I did like it, but Independence Day again. I kind of go, and I hate to compare it to Jurassic Park, but the special effects of it, the
Hmm.
epicness. It has Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman. Everyone knows that president's speech. I mean, yes, it is a
Of
little
course.
popcorny, but man, if you're
Super
an
popcorny.
American, that for some reason that gives me chills. Yes, there is problems. The fucking dog jumping away from the fire. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
god.
so great.
I'm like, yeah, there is a camp in it, but you know, battling the aliens, top to bottom, I enjoy this movie. I saw this movie three times in theaters, and to me, it is the best film. Now, story wise, it might not be the best, but overall, I think it has everything where to me, it took the number one spot. Then I go to my number
Yeah.
two,
Hmm.
which is not Top Gun, it's Rogue One. Rogue One to
Mm.
me beat out
I
Top
don't
Gun.
disagree.
It was a little tough, but to me, at following the shit of the prequels, Rogue One was just a great standalone film. It brought back
Hmm.
some of that feeling of the original Star Wars to me, introducing new characters. I mean, yes, Darth Vader for a small whatever, but for the most, this is all new characters. This was fucking great, and it
Yeah.
made me love Star Wars again. And again,
Hmm.
another movie where we knew the ending. We knew what was going to happen to these characters, because the whole
Hmm.
idea was they were going to die, getting this one piece of information. But fuck, it was still intense. I was still on the edge of my seat,
It's
and
cool.
I had to. Rogue One to me was, number two. What was your number two? Did you go Independence Day or did you go down to Rogue One?
I went Independence Day because, of course, Jeff Goldblum. Um, Also, to go back on my Top Gun thing, I think that for me, it's a nostalgia thing. It is way more nostalgia. I think it's hard to be objective because I grew up um, on Air Force bases. When I was younger, we moved around a lot. My dad was in the military, and we had friends that were fighter pilots, specifically F-16 fighter pilots. And we would go see them kind of do their like exercises and shit like that. And then we'd go down to San Diego, and I actually saw the place Top Gun. And the F-14 Tomcat, which is featured in this movie, is also that's a more of a I believe that's a Navy airplane. I was really into that when I was younger. I used to go to air shows all the time, and so when I saw Top Gun and then I heard the soundtrack for it as well, Highway to the Danger Zone. I didn't know how homoerotic the volleyball scene was until I was much older because my dad, like, that's how him and his friends would like hang out with each other and stuff. Like they do play volleyball with their shirts off because that those were like our family friends. Like our family friends were like my dad's coworkers. Like we all lived on base, and that's who we would hang out with. We would go to barbecues at other people's houses, and they were like just guys that my dad worked with. Like they all like worked together, and so yeah, this Top Gun really resonated with me. Independence Day really scratched that itch for like UFOs and all that stuff that I've always been into, and it was done in a really dramatic way, like of how this could happen. So when I watched this, I was like, oh man, like I knew it. Like this is exactly how it's gonna happen. Blah blah. One day, can you imagine if aliens invaded? Which I'm still hoping for now. And then it had Jeff Goldblum in it, of course, and even Randy Quaid's stupid ass like fucking driving his plane up the fucking the middle of
Up
the ship and everything like that.
yours. Yeah.
Oh man, I love Independence Day. It's a great movie, and when it comes on, I watch it from beginning to end. It aged very well. I think there's a second one. I don't even know if I've seen the second one. Is there a
I
second
haven't.
one?
Even though it has Jeff fucking Goldblum, I have not seen the second one. There is a second one.
Okay. I don't
So
know. Maybe if I did see it, I totally forgot about it. But I love Independence Day. Again, in that era of mid '90s, the big popcorn movies where you would go, and it was like an event to go to the movies. It wasn't just like, oh, you're watching the next Marvel movie.
mhm.
You saw this, and the special effects are great. There was a time where that was our thing. We wanted to see movies with great special effects because we hadn't seen that yet.
Yep.
And in the mid '90s, that's when you started seeing all that crazy shit. It didn't look like Masters of the Universe anymore. It looked good, And Independence Day was a great marker of that for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome movie.
So for me to round this off, I did put Top Gun as number three.
Hmm.
Because it is great, and it's nothing against. I love the first Pirates of the Caribbean, but I could barely tell you like the second and third one or any of them afterwards. I love Johnny Depp. It's a great series, but it's not like I said. I think I remember the first one best. So to me, Top Gun was number three, and then Dead Man's Chest was number four. So I'm curious, and just to make it official, what's your number three?
Hmm.
Is it Rogue One or?
It is Rogue One, and I do love it. And now that like we're talking about it, I kind of like want to like go to Disney Plus after this and watch Rogue One again because like the things you brought up, I'm like, you're right. This movie is awesome, and Donnie Yen is amazing. I love Donnie Yen and everything he does. So Donnie Yen is in this, which is great. It kind of makes me want to watch it again. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Okay, this is the first one, right?
No, no, it's not. This is the second one.
This is the second one.
Curse
Okay,
of the Black Pearl was the first one. So
okay,
this
cool.
isn't even the first one.
It still applies, okay?
Okay.
Because I had the same feeling for these first two movies, which Sarah will hate me for, but this is Pirates of the Caribbean is one of the worst pieces of shit I have ever seen. Okay, I hate Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't care how Johnny Depp is in this. I've also had this argument with Sarah many, many times at the dinner table because it gets brought up. But I used to have our big thing that we used to do back in the day in school was like we would argue which, if you had to, and somebody was going to put a gun to your head and you had to choose for your life, which movie would you see? This movie or, another movie that we have coming up in the bracket? And we honestly could never decide which one was worse. This is some of the worst garbage I have ever seen. Okay? If you ask me if I would watch this over Revenge of the Sith, I would watch Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
I hate the Pirates movies with such a burning passion because they are so fucking boring to me. They are boring. I hate the soundtrack. I hate everything about it. Whatever. I hate the just the love for it. I just find this property to be such a total piece of shit. Am I amazed that Disney took a stupid ass fucking ride and made it into a franchise? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But this movie sucks ass and it's number 4 for me.
No, I agree. I don't think I hate this as much as you do. I didn't remember enjoying the first one. I think I thought the second and third one was okay. I just don't remember much of it. And that, to
Mm.
me, like, if you can't remember something, that should tell you something. Like I said, the
It's even
first one.
worse.
But the question is, what did our fans, for lack of better terms, think in our little Twitter poll here?
Hmm.
Um, Funny thing,
I
yeah,
don't disagree.
and then everything else just tied.
Come on, you got to give like Top Gun a little bit more love. Rogue One and Top Gun need some love.
They do, they do.
Pirates, I agree with 100%. Everybody, we're all on the same page. But holy shit, Rogue One was good, guys.
Rogue One was great. Yeah,
I'm
outside
probably
the
gonna watch
original
it
trilogy.
today.